Hello, and welcome to Rocket Fuel, your daily update of everything that's happening in the Rocket Pool community. My name is Wack. Today is January 13th, and today's episode is going to cover some really cool stuff, especially around RocketArb being used. We're going to talk about the vote initialization stuff that we covered last week. There's a new job from the GMC if you want it, and something really exciting with HeyAnon that you might not have heard of. Let's get started.
10, 9, ignition sequence start. 6.
Okay, so we're going to start here with this forward that Lido put into trading, and it shows a transaction where there was 42.65 rETH burned to get 48 ETH back. Now, what was going on over here? So Lido said this is a self-arb, and this is, it's Trooper's contract. So for those of you who didn't watch last week, and for the last couple of weeks, I guess, there's a bounty that has been accepted by the GMC to pay for, to fund the work on an exit arb to help try to keep rETH as close to peg as possible by letting people capture the arb in the price, the discount basically for rETH on the secondary market. One of the people who's working on this is Trooper. Another person who's working on this is Ramana. Both of them have kind of put out, they've done some tests trying to figure out if it works, but they're not anywhere close to a finished product right now. And here Trooper was working on this, and then he gave the explanation. He says that he was testing it. It looks like it's working. He says that's the new version 0.2. And now supports Uniswap flash swaps and Paraswap for larger amounts, e.g. finalizing 2 or more pools. And he says I also added a bit of an explanation how to simulate the bundle part of it, and then there's a link to the GitHub. And then he says, sadly, this can't be done manually before the bundle is sent. If anyone would like to swap on the Uniswap pool in the meantime, the swap amounts get messed up and the transaction would just revert. So it looks like there's still some bugginess there. Non-fungible Yoakum says, any chance you'd be able to implement it such that instead of pushing it to Flashbots, it creates an atomic safe JSON transaction bundle. And then Trooper says, I think it should be possible. If it's limited to only use Uniswap and it would not have any checks built in, it might be more reasonable to add STH to Rocket Sweep, add something to Rocket Sweep. So it looks like there's progress being made here. And then with the GitHub as well, we had a look at this last week as well, but it looks like, in the usage, there's scenarios that if you, I'll just highlight over here, that if you already have the rETH, or if you need the flash loan approach, and then there's some stretch goals and further enhancements as well coming up here as well. So this is actually really, really cool that this has been built out so quickly. And I guess, the next steps are get it working and hopefully get it integrated into the smart node itself. That would be absolutely fantastic. So yeah, we'll definitely keep an eye on that one. Okay, another story that we covered last week was Lido selling POAPs with the intention of funding getting the nodes on Rocket Pool all initialized onto voting, so we can kind of fix the quorum. So here, Lido said that basically earn money through the initialization POAP and then use the initialization POAP money to activate voting for all these different nodes. And he was kind of trying to play out the numbers to see how many he'd be able to get activated. And 48 nodes will take you to about 85%, 158 nodes will take you to 90%, 338 nodes will take you to 95%, and then 629 nodes will take you to 100%. So he says each initialization costs 275,000 in gas, totaling 43.45 million gas to get it to 90%, a reasonable price of 5 GUI. This amounts to roughly 0.22 ETH. So the 5 GUI thing is important to keep remembering here. But yeah, so the port was sold. Let's have a look at the port for those of you who don't remember. So this is the vote pool initialization POAP, and 47 of them got sold, which is absolutely amazing considering they were about $20 each. Let's see who actually bought some. So there are a bunch of people with just addresses here. I don't know who they are, but that's fine. I think it's basically because the ENS is loaded now. So we got Dukey, Shufro, Steely Ninja, Ramana. I'm just trying to pick out the names that Nocture, D. McCartney, Jasper, Woe, Vaka, like a whole bunch of people, Snow Cones, and yeah, Vitalik.eth. So I think it was Pateris who minted one as a gift for Vitalik, which is really nice. And I minted one as well, and Waldorf. So all of these people, absolutely legendary, fantastic guys, fantastic people, every one of them. 45 wallets minted. And yeah, this is absolutely awesome. So then what was the result of this? Well, gas prices over the last few days were really low. They were down to 2 GUE. So Lido was able to do a lot more with the money that he raised instead of what he was just saying. So with this one transaction here, he was able to burn enough ETH in one transaction that it actually came up on the ultrasound money leaderboard. So he says, I made it into the top 5 with one transaction, and this is over the last 5 minutes. So it just tells you, like, what's happening right now. Valdo said that's pretty cool, and then we're just kind of keeping an eye on the gas, and they were like really low, and then yeah, so that was, he says, I got one in at 1.77 GUE. So he says at this point there were only 74 nodes left to initialize. However, because gas was so low, here Lido was able to initialize all 100% of Rocket Pool's nodes onto voting now. So this is absolutely fantastic. Really, really huge congrats to Lido for this effort. And yeah, he says last batch went through at 1.67 GUE. The ones with the skulls that you can see on the screen right now are node operators who are not active with Rocket Pool anymore, I think. And then the green ones are all the ones that are done. So yeah, that was really good. Yeah. So those ones here with the skulls are the ones that are dead, as in they're fully exited. But yeah, pretty awesome. Like that's really cool. So huge shout out goes to Lido for that. Okay, next we've got some updates from the GMC here, and there's 2 of them. So the first one is the GMC now has a job listing for an overseer for the STAR initiative. That's through the rETH incubator. So this is a position that will pay you $1,000 per month over the course of 8 months, with a potential for renewal based on project outcomes. So the application deadline is a week from now on 19th of January, and the decision deadline is the 26th of January. So what is the STAR initiative? This is a way to engage DAOs, treasuries, and other organizations holding ETH, and instead encouraging them to hold rETH, which of course is what we all want. And a position, so this is, we're looking for someone who has project management skills, CRM implementation skills, oversight committee coordination skills, marketing material development, rewards management, and participation support. And then there's expected deliverables of what we can do. We're going to check for your qualifications. There'll be a termination clause within there. So the oversight committee reserves the right to terminate the overseer's contract at any time during the 8-month period if the overseer was deemed to be underperforming, failing to meet deliverables, or not maintaining effective collaboration with the committee. And then the application process. So interested applicants should review the following application template, message shift with the application. Do not post your application directly to this thread. The GMC will verify receipt of your application on the GMC server. Applications will be reviewed by the GMC privately, and a decision will be made within 1 week by the GMC after the deadline. So here there's 12 questions. Your name, your time zone, your project management skills. Have you worked with CRM? What's your experience working with DAOs, specifically the Rocket Pool ecosystem? How would you establish and maintain and organize the CRM? What steps would you like to ensure effective collaboration with the oversight committee? How would you approach developing and managing marketing materials? Are you currently involved in any activities, projects, organization that may pose a conflict of interest? Are you able to dedicate 7 to 10 hours per week for this position? Do you foresee any potential conflicts of interest with this role? If yes, please inform us, and please include any other relevant experience or information you would have to make this an ideal candidate. So like I said, there are 14 questions in total, with one of them being optional. And I think, we might get a couple of applicants for this, which would be really, really awesome for the GMC. Okay, speaking of the GMC, there is a request that has come through on the forum as well from Schifrin, who is the GMC admin, of course, saying that a recent internal poll taken within the GMC shows that members have increased their weekly output and contributions quite a bit. So how many hours does each member work on GMC duties? So one member says 3 hours, one said 4 hours, one said 5 hours, two said 5 to 6 hours, one said 6 hours, one said 7 hours, and one said it varies. So the GMC members are working more than the hours that they were initially we thought that they would need. So here, I think what's happening here is Schifrin is suggesting adjusting the monthly hours to 15 and update the compensation expectations to better reflect the current output. So that, I guess, will start a discussion and we'll see where we go from there. Okay, there's some interesting stuff happening in the land of crypto and AI right now. And one of these new sectors is something called DeFi. And DeFi is basically DeFi mixed with AI, of course. And one of the protocols that's at the forefront of this is something called HeyAnon or Anon. And this is from Danny Sester, who you might remember from huge blow-ups during the 2021 cycle with some DeFi projects blowing up. Danny here released information about HeyAnon and how we can automate it and how we can make it work. And ICO Beast was sharing this information. And what happened here is Jasper replied to Danny saying, "Hey, Mr. Sester, love the product. You're building with Anon. I took a quick look through the onboarded protocols, and I think there's a great opportunity for Rocket Pool and Anon. Can we DM?" So the way that Anon works is basically it's kind of like a messaging app, and it's linked to a wallet. And you'll tell the protocol, you say, "Hey Anon, bridge my money from Ethereum mainnet to bridge 1 ETH from Ethereum mainnet to Arbitrum, and then open a position where on Aave where I borrow USDC against that, half of that, and then add the USDC and the ETH to liquidity pool on Uniswap version 3 over there." So basically it will take these like DeFi steps and then it will go and act on your behalf and do these. At the same time as Jasper was saying, "Hey, can we DM?" I was making a tweet about this. I was saying this is going to enable some really awesome things. I really hope to see something like, "Hey Anon, swap my ETH for an LST and use it to yield farm." And then on the back end, what it would do, this is what I said, and it swaps the ETH to Rocket Pool's rETH and then throws it into Balancer or PancakeSwap and then earns more than 10%, as you know from the DeFi update that we get every 2 weeks, that those are pretty consistently high earning yields. It's pretty nice. So I put out this tweet and then Danny replied by saying, "Yes, it will." So Danny, of course, like I said, is the founder of HeyAnon. And he actually then retweeted my tweet as well to say this. And then Jasper actually kind of hinted at there being some really good inroads built between himself and Danny Sester in DMs. So hopefully, Rocket Pool will be integrated into HeyAnon, and there's going to be some really good stuff happening with that. That seems really exciting. Like this is, I think, going to be a really big narrative going into 2025, and maybe Rocket Pool can kind of get ahead of one of those once. Okay, we're going to finish the Rocket Pool section here with news of the smoothing pool, and we actually got a really big block. So today crypto prices were quite volatile. Times of volatility leads to MEV options and arbitrages and all that kind of stuff, which means that people who are in the smoothing pool get paid. So this block of 21 ETH came into the smoothing pool today, which of course is very nice. So far this period, the smoothing pool has had 129 ETH come into it. It's been a while since we've talked about the smoothing pool, so actually let's go and do that right now. And the smoothing pool sadly has not been getting too many inflows coming in over the last couple of years, basically since activity on Ethereum kind of started to die down a little bit. And what we found is that even though the number of operators in the smoothing pool has gone up, the amount of money coming into the smoothing pool sadly has gone down. However, during a period of high activity on the Ethereum mainnet, we should see that money would start going up again. This is a Rocket Scan, and Rocket Scan sadly is being really, really, really slow. Let me see if I can get that to load before the end of the episode and then come back and show you all that. Okay, in some staking news now, there's a little bit of drama in the aftermath of ETH stakers staking recommendation page that I covered on Rocket Fuel last week. One of those was about Lido. So here, Dimi, who is the lead on the CSM, screenshotted this text where it says Lido is not recommended. Lido currently controls 30% of the network. This majority stake is considered an attack on Ethereum, and ETH Staker highly discourages new stakers from using them. And then Dimi replied just by saying thanks ETH Staker with a salute emoji. And this actually got a lot of conversation going. Jasper replied initially by saying until the stake is more distributed and Lido governance is solved, they're not wrong. And then a person here was saying, yeah, can you explain what does this mean? How is it an attack? Yeah, there was that kind of kicked the hornet's nest a little bit. So this whole discussion kind of started. Anyway, Porter said, I'm siding with Lido Finance on this one. It's highly opinionated to treat Lido as a centralized pool with 30% stake. There's real risk in their LST, in my opinion, but it's still opinionated. For what it's worth, I've also been critical of Lido before, and I see the CSM as a net positive. And then what ended up happening is Nixo then got involved by saying, I think it's great that they've onboarded new node operators, helping them learn how to stake, use DVT, etc. But the CSM is still ultimately subject to the governance of a very centralized DAO voting mechanism comprised of actors that have demonstrated willingness to exercise soft influence over protocol direction for biased outcomes. Also, there's still the matter of systemic risk in the case that one LST prevails over all others. Net positive for creating node operators, undoubtedly. Net positive for decentralizing Lido, debatable. Net positive for Ethereum. It creates enough decentralization theater to convince people that the stake centralization into a single contract is not a concern. I'd say absolutely not. And then Nixo said, that said, I disagree with the ultra opinionated stance of this page, but ETH Stake is a community and I didn't build this page. And Nixo now, of course, works for the Ethereum Foundation as well, I think, or maybe she's transitioned over fully now. But yeah, that was that was very interesting. But what ended up happening was that that page, the language of that page changed quite quickly. Sadly, I don't have a screenshot of that loaded up to show you, but the language of it being an attack on Ethereum has been replaced, and it's not that pointed anymore. Okay, and to finish the episode, we're going to talk about some Ethereum news here, and this is the Ethereum Twitter account actually putting out a post saying, tweet saying, "Hello world computer." So that's a play on the classic programming meme, I guess, that the first program that you make on a new language that you learn is an output that says "Hello world." So this has actually been a really long-standing discussion in the wider crypto community about the use of the Ethereum Twitter account and what is its purpose, because this is a Twitter account that has millions of followers, but the only thing it ever did was sporadic retweets. There was very rarely ever original content coming out on Ethereum Twitter account. And I think there's been a lot of community pushback recently that this is the absolute bare minimum that you could be doing just to get the word out about Ethereum. And it looks like there's been some changes happening in the Ethereum Foundation now, and that this is going to become a priority. Just actually even put out a tweet saying that he's going to be promoting apps on the Ethereum Twitter account every day. So hopefully Rocket Pool will be featured on there one day soon. But this is really interesting. So congratulations to the Ethereum team for finally listening to those months and months of requests and demands to do this. So I'm excited to see what it brings up. Oh, and finally, we have the output from the smoothing pool, and as you can see here, the peaks were highest around August 2023, and since then, for the last year and a half, they've been getting smaller and smaller and smaller, and hopefully, we'll enter a bull period where that starts going higher again. But yeah, I just wanted to show you all that. So thank you all for watching, listening, and being part of the Rocket Fuel community. I hope you all had a lovely weekend, and it's a good week ahead for all of us. The prices have been really horrible, so that hasn't started on a nice foot, but everything else hopefully will be good. So I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye.